session.
आज से 3 हफ्ते पहले we did a podcast which is coincidentally our most watched episode where we spoke about BitMine, टॉम ली की ईथ ट्रेजरी कंपनी जिसने मिस्टर बीस्ट की बीस्ट इंडस्ट्रीज में $200 million की इन्वेस्टमेंट करी. Now at that time we discussed how Beast Industries aims to become the number one youth focused financial services company. And कल मिस्टर बीस्ट aka जिमी डोनाल्डसन ने ये अनाउंस किया कि बीस्ट इंडस्ट्रीज हैज acquired स्टेप, a teen-focused fintech app with 7 million plus users. So today, we'll be deep diving into this acquisition. I have Narkundi with me, Crypto Daddy with me, and Realist with me. This is the Baaps of Crypto podcast. Let's go. Hello, welcome back, guys.
GM.
What is up? What is up? Narkundi is as usual. There was
Market to down hai. I am up.
Market is down. Narkundi is up. Yes. But before we start, please like, share, subscribe, and turn your notifications on, and leave some comments abusing Narkundi because we want to know how much you love Narkundi.
कल ही बोला था ईद ऊपर जाएगा.
Last में Narkundi indicator did its job. Correct.
Yes. ठीक है भाई. मिस्टर बीस्ट यार ज्यादा ही आग लगा रहा है वो आदमी. क्या कितनी नेटवर्थ थी उसकी लास्ट जब हम लोग ने वो किया था उसकी $1 billion के तो ऊपर ही है, राइट?
हाँ, $1 billion के ऊपर ही है. Did you see his ad for Salesforce? Apparently, he's running some campaign with Salesforce, right? Where he is तो कोई puzzle है, video चला रहा है. There are like 3 videos so far, and each video has some sort of puzzle. And if you solve those puzzles, you get $1 million or $10 million, something like that. And that's in partnership with Salesforce.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
तो Salesforce की भी ऐड कर रहा हो. But actually थोड़े दिन में Salesforce obsolete नहीं होने वाला है.
And to be honest, I think that is true, which is why they are spending so much on MrBeast kind of guys, because उनको भी लग रहा है कि भाई इससे पहले कि अपन obsolete हो जाए, let's do some market push. वरना पहले कहाँ सुना है तुमने market push Salesforce की तरफ से ऐसा?
तो क्या कराना क्या चाह रहे हैं कि वो बच्चों से Salesforce यूज करवाएंगे वो बॉन्डेड लेबर.
It's just
मर जाएंगे.
अभी से सिखाओ माल कैसे बेचते हैं इनको.
हाँ, अभी से तैयार है बहुत सेल्स फनल. बचपन से लीड मैनेजमेंट शुरू कर दो.
लीड मैनेजमेंट, सेल्स फनल, ये सिखाओ इन्हें.
यस. ठीक है भाई. तो ऑब्वियसली उन्होंने दे बॉट दिस ऐप कॉल्ड स्टेप एंड इट्स अ यूथ फोकस्ड सॉर्ट ऑफ मोबाइल बैंकिंग ऐप. एंड इस पे हम आज थोड़ी बात करते हैं. So Realist, do we start with you or do we start with the numbers?
Whatever you
All right. All right. So एक बार थोड़ा समझा दे easy में कि what is Step and what does it do?
So Step is practically, I mean, you can call it a neobank, but it's not a neobank because it's a fintech by the end of the day. There's obviously a bank in the background, right? And they are essentially the technology interface. Now, a lot of banks have been doing this globally, right? Because everyone wants to ride the whole fintech wave because a bank like traditional interface becomes very, very boring. Just say India, maybe we've seen the likes of Jupiter, right? Jupiter has partnered up, I think, with a federal bank or a Canara. I think federal bank है. Canara bank तो government bank हो गया, वो तो करेगा नहीं है सब. But federal bank क्या करता है कि they are essentially the banking partner. Account आपका federal में ही बनता है, but Jupiter is basically that fintech layer on top which makes the whole onboarding process fun. मतलब the onboarding does not require you to walk into a branch, talk to a branch manager, etc. आपको like physical cards भी, जैसे physical debit card भी मिल जाता है, physical वो सब भी मिल जाता है, but you start off by getting a digital card so you can spend immediately. So that's what Step is essentially for people who are sort of watching from India. That's the parallel. So Step is effectively like Jupiter. And their banking partner in the bank is Evolve Bank and Trust. And they are, like I mentioned, they are effectively playing the role of, I'm sure Narkundi has the numbers on this. They're probably like a small or mid-sized bank. I think they're the ones who will probably take a gamble such as this, जिनको धंधा चाहिए था, who probably don't have the capability of building tech on their own. They end up partnering with the likes of Step to do what they're doing. The really cool part about what Step is doing is they're targeting sort of folks very early, right? That is because hota kya, usually these fintech companies target people who are sort of um, young executives, right? Millennial executives. They are sort of going a step even lower, and they're probably targeting kids right at the very, very young age, right? And what they're effectively saying is open an account, spend through us, stuff like that, build a score, build a credit score. So in some fintech companies में usually क्या होता है कि आपको कोई credit line वगैरह नहीं मिलता है because credit is obviously it's a larger risk, right? It's much more difficult than just having deposits and sort of giving out a spending card or a charged card, so to speak. Because credit में क्या होता है, how banks operate कि भैया अपने 100 लोगों से पैसे उठाए और 1:10 के लेवरेज में आपने effectively उसको lend कर दिया. You're effectively left with just 10 rupees worth of liquidity if you raised 100 in deposits from 10 different people. So they are definitely not playing that game right now. But from what I remember reading is that they are building up your credit score, which is eventually going to be shared with bureaus. And if you obviously sort of have built a good spending pattern, your data becomes predictable. Although I don't know how predictable it can be because young people spend on very different things, but when you sort of grow up, your spending pattern completely changes, right? जरूरी नहीं है कि तुम सिर्फ आर्केड में ही खर्चोगे, उसके बाद जाके इन ऑल लाइकलीहुड आप अपने एंगेजमेंट के लिए रिंग खरीदोगे और उसके ईएमआई भर रहे होगे, फिर आप या ट्रैवल करोगे कहीं पे उसकी ईएमआई भर रहे होगे. तो दैट स्पेंडिंग पैटर्न विल चेंज, बट आई थिंक दे आर ट्राइंग टू ग्रैब देम अर्ली. या गो अहेड.
कि या तो मीम कॉइन खरीद रहे होगे.
Exactly, right. So those patterns will definitely change, but nevertheless, I think they're going after the whole motto, catch them early, right? You catch them early, you get them hooked on, because अगर एक बचपन में आपने किसी के साथ एक interface बना लिया and they like it, they'll most likely stick around with you once they get there. Once they're getting their first job, they're switching from job to job, you'll sort of be their trusted banking partner, right? And the revenue model in this case is very, very simple for Step. What they do is they probably make money from the whole charge fees that they earn. Like whenever you're spending through their platform, etc., that's where they charge money on, and it's all sort of variable sort of spending, right? Because अब बच्चों के पास पैसा तो होता नहीं है, वो फिक्स्ड भी तो देंगे नहीं अकाउंट खोलने के लिए, कोई डिपॉजिट का भी पैसा, मिनिमम डिपॉजिट्स वगैरह का कॉन्सेप्ट होता नहीं है. So they'll essentially end up paying from whatever they're spending essentially. So that's the whole concept of Steps. So yeah, catch them early, financial literacy, teaching them about investments, teaching them about how to manage money, how to save money, etc. And that is what I think MrBeast is sort of riding on. कि यार इनको मैं बचपन में पकड़ लेता हूँ, फिनटेक प्लेटफॉर्म तो पूरा बनाया है, बिटमाइन ने पैसे डाले हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली अब मैं इनको बोलूंगा कि काम, and if I were him, I would eventually move this to becoming like a full-fledged USDC neobank. And यार कल का जनरेशन मेरे हिसाब से I mean कल का जनरेशन भी तो मैं क्या बोलूं, like the generation which is coming out of schools today, for them USDC will be USD, right? जैसे हम USD को देखते हैं वो लोग USDC को देखेंगे उसी तरीके से. For them USDC will be no different from a USD. And USDC then opens a whole new world of possibilities for them, because then they are looking at investing in tokenized stocks. Because वो generation जो USDC hold करती है, वो थोड़ी off ramp करके आप समझ लो क्यों खरीदेगी या कुछ और खरीदेगी, right? They'll probably stay on chain and then they'll buy tokenized stocks using a cow swap or an ondo. Yeah. So their entire relationship with money and the way they sort of treat money and the way they sort of interact with the money ecosystem is going to be very, very different, which is why the BitMine investment, which is why his need to sort of acquire a Step, because he does not want to convert people like you and me. He wants to go after tomorrow's generation, jinke liye Ethereum is going to be, transacting on ETH is going to be like a natural extension of their lives. For us, it's still about on-ramping and off-ramping. For them, it's going to be, they won't ever need to off-ramp. They'll forever remain on-chain.
ये वाला क्राउड उसके पास ऑलरेडी है, राइट? तो बच्चों वाला जो क्राउड है वो बचपन से
Exactly. अब बस उसने फाइनेंशियल लेयर ऐड कर दिया उसके प्रॉब्लम.
और मैं देख रहा था स्टेप ऐप पे भी लाइक जैसे वो प्रोसेस है उसका पूरा कि यू मेक अ बैंक अकाउंट एंड देन यू मेक योर चाइल्ड्स बैंक अकाउंट, अब वो दोनों लिंक्ड रहते हैं और फिर आप अपने
Correct.
डेबिट कार्ड से उस पर पैसे डाल दो अकाउंट में, और फिर उसमें आप मंथली उसकी अलाउंस सेट कर सकते हो कि आप जितनी पॉकेट
मंथली
मनी
कर
दे रहे हो
सकते हो,
वो
वीकली कर सकते हो,
Exactly.
रिकरिंग कर सकते हो, एग्जैक्टली।
या
Yeah.
तो जैसे बनाया है इट्स वेरी नाइस। नरकुंडी, व्हाट डू द नंबर्स से?
Yeah, so numbers के पहले some additional features which also stick out are the peer-to-peer money transfer feature इसमें. एक और feature इसमें called early pay. So you can get up to $250 in advance credit from your future pay without paying any interest. So लोग बोले कि भाई सैलरी आया नहीं है, पहले से खर्च करना स्टार्ट कर दो उसको. Again, like they'll make money on those transactions, and even users, they earn reward points for um, taking some surveys, watching some ads. So monetization angle उसमें already है. And जो second चीज़ जो USDC की बात कर रहे थे, and I see this a lot like Reddit forums में, like जो early जो first job में जो जाते हैं adults, काफ़ी लोग की प्रायोरिटी होती है कि 401k में कंट्रीब्यूट करना है उन लोग को, मैक्स आउट ऑन 401k इन्वेस्टमेंट्स. Once that becomes tokenized and the amount that they have in the step account becomes USDC, it just starts making sense. Okay, 401k is tokenized. I have USDC. This is the amount that I remain. Start putting into that already. So it's a bit of a long-term game, but yeah, like you said, he's not looking at you and me as users. It's like the teens, who will not step into a bank. Who, for them, like neobanks is the default. And maybe if they are having these type of advanced features on trading, tokenization, what to do with that money, that itself starts becoming differentiation. Now, money-wise, data-wise, there's the huge factor on the customer acquisition cost. Now, for legacy banks, the estimates are that it costs up to more than $300 to acquire a customer. Now, this is factoring in the fact that they have branches, they have inefficient marketing. Neobanks it starts going down to just under $50. Now, for MrBeast, the whole acquisition method is the content that he creates. So he has more than 460 million followers combined on all the social channels. So whenever he's putting out content, it's not about the content, it's about the monetization, the views, the ads. So when he starts pushing from that perspective, now your customer acquisition cost between legacy banks, between neobanks and the step app, it starts looking completely different, which means they're getting those early customers. They're looking at teens who will start going into college, who are looking to spend, who will probably get a job one day, and they're looking at building lifetime value at a much cheaper cost per acquisition. So that is scary for legacy banks and even new banks who will now look at this as a huge differentiation factor. Another thing is the timing at which they have stepped in. So peak 2022 mein, the fintech valuations were very high. Now Klarna, again, neobank, it has gone down in valuation. So Stripe has taken a hit. Chime, again, same neobank type of features. All of them have taken it. So for them to come in at these valuations and looking at tokenization, looking at Ethereum from long-term perspective, it could be a good timing for them.
Got it. क्रिप्टो एडी यार, ये तो मानना पड़ेगा कि टॉम ली है तो दिमाग वाला, बहुत ही सही टाइम पे उसने मिस्टर बीस्ट में इन्वेस्टमेंट करी, एंड लाइक दिस इज नाउ गोइंग ऑब्वियसली लाइक दिस इज गुड फॉर ईथ ओनली एंड गुड फॉर बिटमाइन कि ये इन्वेस्टमेंट जो है इट विल ऑब्वियसली बेयर अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रूट्स फॉर देम, राइट? या तो वही मैं तेरे को बोल रहा था कि इस पे व्हाट डू यू थिंक, लाइक व्हाट्स द होल?
Yeah, okay. So from my understanding, so if you look at this entire strategy of BitMine and MrBeast and the fintech platform step, I think we have to sort of step back further back and look at it from a very broader perspective, and I see that it's a very, very long game. Now, why I say that is because if you go back in the 1970s, right, the credit card industry brought in the revolving credit. and that sort of revolutionized the way people started started spending, right? Okay, you could actually not pay, move around, rotate your credit, and all of that, right? So they created a new way of expenditure that was imposed on everybody, right? Imposed or whatever they were exposed to it. Eventually उससे क्या हुआ कि by in the next 10, 15 years or 20 years, everybody in the world was using credit card. And today, if you see, our lives are completely bound by credit cards, right? हमारी हर चीज, everything that we're doing, we're spending through credit cards. And that was our generation. So our generation was the prime, what do you call, it was like the top of the credit card scheme, as to say, right? कि हम आज के ज़माने में we use maybe 0.3 or 4 or 5% of our cash, and we spend more on our card using NFC or whatever it is. Now, if you're looking at this whole scenario, you have to understand that these kids, so they are, what is the age group that are used on Step, right? So, and it's not just Step. So he acquired Step, and he started the whole crypto, but there are other teenage neo banks already in the US. So there's Greenlight, there's Current, right? Step has 7 million subscribers. Greenlight has 6 million subscribers. So they are almost equal competitors to Step. So they've already started this process of putting very young kids into the habit of spending online, right? And into the habit of spending through an app or through the neobank system. So they're already moving them from your traditional banking system into a more platform-based, fintech-based payment systems, right? Now, what is going to happen next is, like Realist said, कि इन बच्चों के लिए this is going to be the norm. कि these are banks, right? They don't see banks as physical, what do you call it, shell and core, जिधर आप जाते हैं and you give a check and you take cash out. They have no idea that those things even exist, right? And the best part is, so what was the whole concept behind Step was कि it's not just them, giving them the option to take that credit from their parent and then spend, but this credit, how they're spending that money, right? So you're tracking what the child is spending, how his spending habits are. You're creating a credit history from his 13 years of age, right? And you're building that. By the time the child is 18 years old, you know his spending history, you know the kind of spend he's doing, you know what his credit score is, and you can basically project what his credit score is going to be in the next 10 years. You can then target him with very specific products in the future, right? Financial products or whatever it is. So you're creating an extremely new kind of customer base from a very young age. And I don't know if you want to look at it positively or negatively, but this is a very major shift that's starting, and we are not looking at it very closely. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
that was my next question to you guys. Do you think that targeting young kids with sort of these apps and getting them into the financial system, is it a positive or a negative?
See, this is I don't know, how do you answer a question like this? Do you answer it ethically, or do you answer from a social responsibility? I don't know how to answer that question, right? From a social responsibility, yes, you're teaching a child at a very young age how to manage his finances, how sort of you work in as a community. Ethically, now you're going to create a customer for yourself that you can build and sell products in the future. But ये चीज एक ऐसी है that is bound to happen, whether it is right or wrong. This is the next step in the banking industry, right? And then you plug in BitMine's crypto backend to Step. Now what you're doing is, now these kids are already trained on how to spend money where the USD is concerned, right? So they're spending on their weekly budgets. They're doing whatever the pocket money they get from their parents, they're spending it accordingly. Now comes in MrBeast with BitMine's investment and the whole crypto backing. अब वो ये बोलता है कि यार, ये जो बच्चों के पास, अगर तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स तुम्हें $20 भी हफ्ते के देते हैं, because one of the aspects of reward system in the Step ecosystem is that if you do those financial literally tasks, right? So you study those as literacy tasks, so you get cashback rewards and stuff. So what he's going to do is going to say कि यार वो जो $20 तेरे पास तेरे माँ बाप ने दिए हैं, उसमें से तू $2 जो है ना, वो इस तरह के किसी DeFi प्रोडक्ट में लगा के देख, right? Your USD is automatically going from a 13-year-old into a DeFi platform, right? It's basically pushing your crypto narrative. And ये जो Trump और ये सारे जो इतना बोल रहे हैं ना कि we're going to make US the crypto capital of the world, this is the start of it, right? It's not कि हम
Correct.
BTC सिर्फ हम ले लेंगे. This is the start. You go back in the 70s, credit cards, that's where they started, right? And then they evolved into something so major that is currently happening. This is the start. We're going to see, we are seeing, and we are seeing a major shift in how finance is going to work in the next 10, 15 years. And I think crypto is going to become a major key element in part, as a part of the whole financial process.
Got it. So one of the, obviously understandably stressful things about this है कि ये भी है कि आप बचपन से उसको एक डेट की उसको क्रेडिट कार्ड दे दिया तो उसको एक डेट की आदत
Exactly.
डाल रहे हो आप, right? We saw this with, now we're seeing this with social media apps, right? A lot of the countries are coming up and saying कि 15 साल के बच्चों को तक को सोशल मीडिया यूज नहीं
Hmm.
करने देना चाहिए
France
because
is looking at getting it.
France is doing, Australia
Uh,
is doing. So what do
Australia
you
has
guys think
done it.
about? Is there a chance कि इसके साथ भी यही होगा? Because this has the potential to lead to something like good also, but like really bad also. आप बचपन से
I
बच्चा
don't
जुआरी बन
think
जाएगा.
I don't think they're going to ban something like this. देखो social media ban इसलिए कर सकते हैं because social media पे you can influence a child on his thought process. He could be right wing or left wing, and a certain narrative can be pushed to a child, right? Which is why they would sort of ban. A certain government would say, "Okay, yeah, I don't want the generation that I have to be more right wing, and the content that they're getting is more right wing." So in that scenario, yes, social media ban makes sense. Plus, there is a whole uproar from the parents itself. Okay, you have a lot of other agendas that are being pushed to the children. In this scenario, what are you doing? You're basically creating your next generations of how do you say an economy, right? And how people spend in a country. You're training them in a certain way that's going to affect your country in the longer run. Why would they sort of stop something like that from happening? They, if anything, I think they're going to push this more. Why? Because then as government entities, they can sort of evolve your child into a certain financial individual, how they want you to be.
Got it. Realist.
So, I mean, see, Mr. Beast, I mean, acquisition channel is also social media, right? So if social media and there's a blanket ban on social media and everybody's sort of going after it, I'm sure this will also get affected, but I don't see that to be a reality because trying to legislate your way through social media and trying to ban it, that's like going the China way, right? And I don't think people want to go the China way. And China maybe China has its own social medias, right?
Yeah.
So you might not be getting influenced from global powers, but you're still getting influenced by pockets globally, right? Pockets domestically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
indirectly or directly, you cannot stop people from getting influenced. Like if somebody is going to get influenced, he or
Mhm.
she will get influenced. And we are far from that stage जहाँ पे you can sort of legislate your way and sort of control this. तो ये तो नहीं होगा. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Crypto Daddy's point of view that the idea is to bank them early. The idea is to sort of get them hooked onto all of these things right from the start. And America is a financialized economy, right? तो for them to think कि नहीं यार ये बच्चे अगर मैं इनको नहीं सिखाऊंगा तो ये सीखेंगे नहीं और मिस्टर बीस सिखा के इनको वो वैसे ही उनकी इकोनॉमी इसी चीज पे चल रही है. So I think so like going back to a initial argument of ours, right? Meme coins did not work because, sorry, meme coins did not ruin crypto because meme coins entered crypto, right? It's because meme coins work because that's what people wanted, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब there were 100 different coins. Why did people get attracted to meme tokens, right? So similarly, even in this case, like if sort of kids do get influenced through social media, which they probably are, and that's how Mr. Beast is probably the largest followed, like I think social
YouTuber.
media personality
Yeah,
YouTuber,
globally,
social
yeah.
media influencer, yeah.
right? And he's probably going to be the first person to reach 1 billion subscribers on YouTube. I mean, he's probably on track with that much amount of capital. That's what he's going to do. He's going to just plow it in, and he's going to keep on getting more and more popular. So he is going to constantly influence people because people are getting influenced because that's the trend. It's not that. So it's like a symbiotic relationship. People are getting influenced because Beast is influencing. ऐसा नहीं है. People are getting influenced because Mr. Beast is present and they want to get influenced by him. There are 10 different channels that they could follow. Why do they follow him? Right? Why do they follow a guy who's
Exactly.
running around with a bag full of cash strapped around? So that's how he's making them think कि यार भाई पैसा है, पैसा ही कमाना जरूरी है. And like Crypto Daddy mentioned, वो बोलेंगे भैया तुम्हारे अकाउंट में जो तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स ने $100 डाल के रखे हैं उसमें से $5 तुम एक DeFi प्रोडक्ट में डाल दो। DeFi प्रोडक्ट में तो KYC की भी जरूरत नहीं होती, कोई भी कुछ भी कर सकता है वहां पे आके, राइट? लाइक यू हैव नो कंट्रोल ओवर एनी ऑफ दैट. And the moment you get him hooked on to what the possibilities of DeFi are, like we saw, right, on Pump.Fun, those kids were launching new tokens,
Yes.
right, on like live videos. So these things are already happening. So Mr. Beast के आने से ये ट्रेंड पकड़ेगा ऐसा नहीं है, ये चीज चल रही है तभी Mr. Beast जाके स्टेप को अक्वायर कर रहा है, right? He's just reducing his time to market. He has all the money to build something like Step himself. It's just that भाई वो captive user base बनाने में समय लगेगा. बना बनाया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिल रहा है मुझे, मैं अपने सारे सब्सक्राइबर्स को उठा के बोल दूंगा भैया इस बैंक में आ जाओ, बैंक विद मी, बैंक विद बीस्ट, राइट? एंड देन वेयर बीस्ट इज पुटिंग मनी, यू आल्सो पुट इन मनी. आज के दिन में क्या, हाउ डज ही इज सेलिंग हिज प्रोडक्ट्स, राइट? ही हैज हिज फेस्टिवल्स एटसेट्रा, ही हैज like these toys and whatever collectibles and all that he sells. He does the entire spiel. राइट? अब वो क्या कर रहा है, शुरू में उसने रेफरल लिंक से चीजें बेचना शुरू करी होंगी, अब उसने फिर अपने ही प्रोडक्ट्स बना दिए. अब वो क्या करेगा, इवेंचुअली जाके बोल रहा है भैया इस बैंक में मेरे भी पैसे हैं, तुम्हारे भी पैसे इसी बैंक में हैं, चलो साथ मिलके इसमें इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, वो भी पैसे लगा रहा है, वो भी उसके साथ वाले. तो दैट इज वेयर ही इज इवेंचुअली हेडेड एंड दैट्स व्हाट्स गोना हैपन. एंड फॉर दीज किड्स दिस इज लाइफ. हम लोगों को ये सारी चीजें ऑड लगती हैं, पॉलिटिशियंस को ऑड लगती है, वो लेजिस्लेट करना चाहे, पेरेंट्स को ऑड लगता है, बट बच्चों की दुनिया, इन बच्चों की दुनिया जो स्टेप पे हैं और जो मिस्टर बीस्ट को फॉलो करते हैं उनकी दुनिया ऐसी ही चलती है. फॉर देम फाइनेंस इक्वल्स ब्लॉकचेन, फॉर देम फाइनेंस इक्वल्स क्रिप्टो, फॉर देम मनी इक्वल्स क्रिप्टो.
Yes.
I don't think those kids are discussing, you know what, gold is rallying. I was thinking of investing in a couple of gold bonds. Or I don't think they think about, you know what, it's time we started saving up for a house. They don't do all of that. I mean, to be honest, these kids don't even want to buy cars, right? Which is why, I mean, for them, Uber is going to be an extension. Airbnb is going to be the extension. They'll be living globally, working, doing remote jobs, living anywhere, and they will sort of bank with Mr. Beast on in the DeFi sort of in the cryptoverse. That for them is money. For them, USD is not money. For them, gold bonds is not an investment. Real estate is not an investment. They'll probably flirt around with stocks, but that's about it. They'll just flirt around with it because they'll probably think that, oh yeah, I'm using so many agents to do my tasks for me. And you know what? The company that built or the company that provides infrastructure for these agents is listed on the exchange. So let me go and buy a stock. But he's not going to go on to the Robinhood app and do it. He'll probably use the Robinhood tokenized version to do it because Robinhood was also building its own end too, right?
Yeah.
So that is going to be their gateway. So this is going. I mean, चाहे कोई politician इसको legislate कर दे कुछ भी कर दे, this is the norm. This is default. आज हमको weird लग रहा है. Mr. Beast is playing the long-term game. 10 साल के बाद ये norm है बच्चों. And the people who are graduating into 18, उनके लिए यही norm है. उनके लिए ये सब norm नहीं है. जो आज के लिए हमारे लिए सेफ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं. ट्रेजरी, अगर वो ट्रेजरी में डालेंगे, वो ट्रेजरी भी उनके लिए टोकनाइज्ड ट्रेजरी होगी. अगर मान लो somebody convinces them to buy treasuries, मैं तो ये मान रहा हूँ.
होगा ऐसा ही होगा. I mean, and to be honest, हम आज सिर्फ स्टेप डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, right? And like I said, this is just the first step. There are already two competitors in the market, right? वो भी आहिस्ते टोकनाइज करेंगे. वो इन्होंने स्टेप ने मिस्टर बीस्ट के साथ पार्टनर किया है. वो दूसरा वाला जो वैनेक के साथ या वो ग्रेस्केल के साथ पार्टनर कर लेगा या जेपी मॉर्गन के साथ टोकनाइजेशन पार्टनर कर लेगा. And they'll end up doing this, right? So eventually we will see a whole barrage of these things coming in as well.
Like Evolve Bank and Trust जो पीछे है उसके, right? So Step owns the user, right? उनका backend में एक account खुला हुआ है Evolve Bank and Trust के साथ, but Step is the owner of that user. ये Evolve Bank and Trust ना is just going to play the role of the on ramping. ये जितना पैसा पड़ा हुआ है ना, ये Mr. Beast इसको on ramp करा देगा. और ये सारा का सारा जो पैसा ना Evolve Bank and Trust के पास रहने नहीं वाला. Like if I were Mr. Beast, the first thing I would do is strip away Evolve Bank and Trust. How will I do that? First tell people कि यार मैं एक simple MoonPay की integration कर दूंगा. KYC account तो है ही because Evolve Bank and Trust is FDIC in short. तो आपका ये KYC user तो है. मैं बस एक simple MoonPay की integration करूंगा. और MoonPay only listens to KYC people. वो KYC के बिना तो छूते भी नहीं है किसी को. मैं एक बार उसको MoonPay करा लिया, मैं सारा का सारा पैसा उसका स्मार्ट अकाउंट में डलवा दूंगा, जो कि हमारे ईआरसी सॉर्ट ऑफ ईआरसी कंप्लायंट स्मार्ट अकाउंट्स में डाल दूंगा, जो कि थर्ड वेब के मिलते हैं। एंड आजकल के वॉलेट्स के लिए you don't need to sign a transaction by signing it on the blockchain. You can do it from a passkey. Like you can do it using facial scan. Right? वो गया जमाना भाई, वो गया जमाना मेटामास्क का कि आपको जाके साइन करना पड़ेगा ट्रांजैक्शन। वो गया जमाना जहां पे आपको गैस फीस पे करनी पड़ती है। गैस फी भी आज के दिन में आई थिंक थर्ड वेब का पे मास्टर बोल के है, which is essentially, so whenever you're transacting using your OTP, so either your OTP or you're transacting using your passcode on your phone or the facial scan on your phone. Gas is also paid by the company. In this case, it's going to be paid by Step, right? They'll simply onboard you and उसके बाद मून पे से तुम्हें ऑन रैम्प करा देंगे। तुम्हारा एक बार पैसा ऑन चेन में चला गया, मिस्टर बीस्ट इंश्योर करेगा वो पैसा वापस नहीं आएगा कहीं। वो जिंदगी में इवॉल्व बैंक एंड ट्रस्ट के पास नहीं आएगा वो पैसा वापस।
वो ऑन चेन ही रहेगा वो पैसा, एग्जैक्टली वो ऑन चेन ही रहेगा
वो इंश्योर। बिकॉज उसके बाद क्या मिस्टर बीस्ट बोलेगा, चलो आज लेट्स सी हाउ वी कैन इन्वेस्ट फॉर टुमारोज। वो ऐसा बोलेगा, लेट्स फंड आवर ओन कॉलेज एजुकेशन, let's go and invest in Ethina, है ना, या let's go and invest on Uniswap, let's set up a liquidity pool, और let's farm USDC USDT pair। ये सब सिखाएगा बच्चों को। एंड फिर वो बोलेगा एजेंट बना देते अपना, एजेंट ही करना शुरू कर देगा तुम्हारे लिए सारी चीजें। ये सब करेगा यार वो बैठ के। तो इवॉल्व बैंक एंड ट्रस्ट के पास पैसा नहीं बचने वाला, आज के दिन में उनके पास सारा पैसा पड़ा हुआ है। The first thing I would do is integrate MoonPay or build something of MoonPay of इसलिए इतना पैसा उठाया होगा उसने, right? Because BitMine can literally act as the liquidity provider and give them that on-ramping flexibility without MoonPay also, and strip away Evolve Bank and Trust. Evolve Bank and Trust बंद हो जाएगा, मैं इतना बताता हूँ इस पार्टनरशिप के बाद।
नरकुंडी, स्टेप को बैठाएं कि चलाएं, क्या बोलता है तू?
See,
is it a step up or a step down?
See, from legislation perspective,
no, as
US is the last place जहाँ पे social media ban आएगा।
Tell me, as the father of a young child जिसके बच्चा टीनेजर बनने वाला है थोड़े टाइम में, what do you think? रिटेल के पॉइंट पर्सपेक्टिव से तो लेजिस्लेशन छोड़ दे।
No, you see, okay, so when we talk about financial education, financial literacy, it's severely lacking. And I think हम लोग के time पे भी there was zero financial literacy. Most of it we have figured out well after graduating and like खुद से stumble करके, you know, वो भी शायद नहीं होता कभी। I think for these kids, like you know, if you look at from consumer debt perspective, like you have two types. You have people who are paying their credit cards on time, keeping their credit score on top, and then you have people who are making minimum payments as well. It's from the same product. Who is responsible for it? So if your child is under 18 and if you are saying that, yeah, blank check, jo chahiye le lo, you know, we'll cover it, then you are building that habit that money is there, infinite supply hai, and don't worry, keep taking loan, keep paying minimum interest. Then that's the type of financial literacy you're passing on. Instead, if you look at it from that perspective, okay, this is your income, this is your savings, this is what you should save, this is what you should invest. Look at different asset classes. I don't think we got any of that education from our earlier generation. Any of you guys had that talk at home? Nobody had. So it's on us then, you know, if you want to look at it, okay, don't push your kids into overconsumption, then you have to do it. So from retail perspective, I think yes, they are going to be on chain, they are going to be spending, but how do you manage? How do you explain to them savings, investments, compounding? How does that work? If you are willing to have the conversation, then maybe you can make a smart consumer out of it. But nonetheless, economy runs on consumption. It doesn't work on spending. It doesn't work on savings. So wo angle to hoega, you know, and it's a tough challenge. Like, you know, if your kid just pops into some so and like yeah, just use your card, just tap your phone, you know, pay ho jayega. That's one way to look at it. But the other way is also like, okay, here's your allowance, here's how we manage. So it's partial responsibility on parents also. We can't just push it on to MrBeast and say, you know, ki isne kharab kar diya, you know, like I don't think so. It's easier to shift blame. I think it's important to take responsibility also.
By God, कभी-कभी समझदारी की बात करता है नरकुंडी. If you don't have hair, you become wise.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he's
Yes.
he's betting
सोच
on
सोच
he's
के हो
betting
गए.
on kids becoming wiser in the future.
Why
That's the
yeah.
bet, by the way. Yeah. So just putting it out there. That's the
वो जो
trade.
That's
Kids
it.
becoming wiser. So we all know what kids are going to do 10 years down the line, right? Meme
वो जो
tokens.
वेबसाइट है ना,
मैं तो रहा, अभी फाटकॉइन
Swear
खरीद
to
के
God.
रखूँ मैं तो.
उसका जो है ना द अनियन, उसका एक आर्टिकल था लाइक आफ्टर ऑस्ट्रेलिया सोशल मीडिया बैन. तो उसका था लाइक आफ्टर सोशल मीडिया बैन kids are getting back to doing stupid shit as teenagers.
ठीक है, चलो भाई आज देखते हैं मार्केट में थोड़ा क्या चल रहा है. तो यस, so Bank of America now expects the Bank of Japan to hike rates in April earlier than
चलो.
June. ठीक है भाई, 25 basis move, 25 basis point would lift the policy rate to 1% after December's rise to
हम्म.
0.7%. अभी तो it has, they still have like some उनका क्या न्यूट्रल रेट क्या है, 1 to 2.5% के बीच में कहीं तो भी है. So yeah. हाँ, आज इसकी क्या बोलते हैं कि मीटिंग है व्हाइट हाउस में बिटवीन बैंकर्स, व्हाइट हाउस ऑफिशियल्स एंड अपने क्रिप्टो वाले लोग फॉर डिसाइडिंग कि क्लैरिटी एक्ट क्या कहना है. So I don't know if you guys saw कि स्कॉट बेसेंट आया और he said कि इनको Coinbase वालों को कुछ करना ही नहीं है.
कुछ
They
करना
they
ही नहीं है. Correct.
I saw that.
they would rather kill the bill than let go of
Yeah,
stable
they're not
lead.
proactive people.
Yeah.
पीआर मूव कर रहे हैं कि हम तो
हाँ,
रेडी हैं.
Coinbase को बोल रहा है कि कुछ करना ही नहीं है. अब उनका पूरा धंधा ही टिका हुआ है एक चीज पे, उनको क्यों नहीं करना होगा यार.
यस, पर स्कॉट बेसेंट को भी तो अच्छे यानी लाइक आई डोंट नो कि पैसे तो नहीं बट एटलीस्ट लॉबिंग तो कर ही रहे होंगे सारे बैंकर्स,
Yeah,
बैंकिंग
yeah,
इंडस्ट्री.
100%. I don't know if you saw, right, in India, Raghav Chadda was talking about crypto again, right? I think वो
अभी
पहले भी
वापस
बात
से
तो कर चुका है टोकन.
आज टाइप एन के आते
I
हैं इस
think
बार.
वही. हाँ, आप टाई पहन के आए. उसको बोला कि आप पिछली बार शायद इतना सीरियसली लिया ही होगा. If I wear a tie, they will take me seriously, right? But I think it's very evident. I think I think ये coin DCX वाले, all of these people must have paid him to sort of lobby, right? And it's normal. I mean, what he's saying is not wrong. I mean, everybody has their own ways of doing it. But I think यही सब चल रहा है वहाँ पे भी. इंडिया में भी यही सब चल रहा है.
ठीक है, next Fed check, Kevin Walsh, if you're under 40, Bitcoin is your new gold, of course. और एक आई डोंट नो अगर तुमने देखा कि एक वीडियो भी आया है जहाँ पे ट्रम्प वाज ऑब्वियसली टॉकिंग अबाउट पावल कि उसको मैंने अपॉइंट करके बहुत गलती करी, पर ही सेड इट इन अ वे कि लोगों को लगा कि ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट केविन वॉश. तो सारे क्लिप्स बिकेम अबाउट दैट.
Yeah.
उफ.
Okay, Bank of England selects Chainlink to test atomic settlement with
Yeah.
tokenized assets. Nice. And obviously, even as BTC fell 24% in the last month, dollar STRC returned to near $100 and paid an 11% annualized dividend in cash. Go strategy. Michael Saylor, bhai.
Of course.
Yeah, he might just become the next richest person in the world. मुझको तो कभी-कभी ऐसी feeling आ रही है अभी. 800
Could be.
800 $800 billion
Could be.
is
I
a
mean, you
lot.
never know. Could be.
Yeah. कितनी है इसकी नेटवर्थ अभी? 25-30 बिलियन कुछ तो होगी ऐसी.
No idea. No idea.
No idea. Yeah.
पर्सनल नेटवर्थ.
हाँ.
Yeah.
नहीं.
Let's check.
ओ मैन. वो फिर ऐसे ऐसे पोस्ट निकालता है ट्विटर पे,
तो पोस्ट निकालने
He's
का और
पोस्ट निकालने में क्या है, वो तो एलॉन भी निकालता है ब्रो.
his personal
billion.
net worth is about 7 bill.
7 बिल. ओके, यार तो
अरे
फिर तो
मुझे
थोड़ा
4 बता रहा है. ब्रो की है.
थोड़ा मुश्किल. गरीब बिलियनर है ये.
हाँ.
तो बैली थ्रेस्ट कॉमा क्लब में.
So retail sales, core retail sales, retail control group and employment cost index, आज ये सब आया था, all missed. तो like we said yesterday, right, अब वो सारी पोस्ट जो आ रही हैं वो ऐसी आ रही हैं कि पिछले फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस के मैट्रिक्स से कंपेयर करते हुए कि ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ. Alright. Hyperliquid is quietly outgrowing Coinbase. Trading volume notional Coinbase 1.4 trillion, Hyperliquid 2.6 trillion. That's nearly 2x Coinbase's volume from an on-chain exchange, and the market is noticing. I don't think. Do you guys think Hyperliquid will become bigger than Coinbase? I don't think so. Or is it?
I
No,
don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
also don't think so.
Don't know.
I think
Uh,
centralized intermediaries, no matter how bad they are, I think
yeah.
their user flows are too damn good.
Yeah.
Too damn good. And people are and the people who are using Coinbase today, I think, like we discussed, like the people that we're talking about right now, the generation that probably enters the financial economy maybe 10 years down the line, for them it could be a different experience. But the people who are currently trading on Coinbase are the people who are trading on maybe Robinhoods of the world and Gas Citadels of the world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they are used to their funds getting stuck. तो उनके लिए ये कोई पेन पॉइंट नहीं है कि लोग बोलते हैं ना नॉट योर कीज नॉट योर टोकन्स.
Yeah.
दे आर यूज टू द फैक्ट दैट यार मेरा डॉलर भी तो सीज हो ही जाता है ना बैंक में, मेरे को खाते में फिर जाके बात करना पड़ता है,
Yeah.
एप्लीकेशन डालनी पड़ती है टू गेट इट ऑन. आई थिंक they are fine with these sort of problems is what I kind of feel, which is why this, in spite of everything, all dexes today are what, maybe like 5 to 10% of overall trading volume, rest is still with
Yeah.
exchanges. So yeah.
Big tech capex is exploding. The combined capex of Amazon, Alphabet, Google, Meta, and Microsoft is expected to jump
500.
70% year to a
600.
$610 billion in 2026. So yeah.
Good luck.
और सो ले क्या बोलते हैं लेबर मार्केट और वीक हो रही है यूएस में, सो ले ऑफ्स आर स्काई रॉकेटिंग. US based employers, excluding government, announced 107,000 job cuts in January, the highest count for months since 2009. The great financial crisis. ये वापस से, this is one of those metrics जो okay. Made in India, Sarvam AI beats Gemini and ChatGPT in optical character recognition, Indian language document reading, and text to speech and AI voice generation. What is OCR, or optical character
It's
recognition? किसी को
called
idea?
yeah, optical.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
visual recognition.
It's an old
विजुअल रिकग्निशन
visual.
मेरे हिसाब से यार.
Yeah.
हाँ, जैसे गूगल लेंस वेंस है ना, आई थिंक ये सभी चीजें होंगी और क्या, कि फोटो खींच के
भाई
रिकग्नाइज कर
ओसीआर जो है
लेगा,
ना
पढ़
वो,
लेगा क्या है.
हाँ ये मतलब जैसे वेरी ओल्ड कंप्यूटर टर्मिनोलॉजी, ये जो तुम स्कैन करते हैं ना, वो भी ओसीआर है
Hmm.
बेसिकली,
Got
कैरेक्टर
it.
रिकग्निशन. सो या.
Okay, silver inventories on Shanghai Futures Exchange are collapsing. Shanghai silver available for delivery is down to just 350 tons,
पुरानी
the
कहानी है
lowest
यार ये.
since 2015. गिर रहा
या.
है.
हर दो महीने में यही फ्लोट करते हैं ये लोग.
तो शंघाई पे prices are also quite different than जो यूएस में ट्रेड हो रही है उसके उनके उस
ये
पे.
भी ये भी सोशल मीडिया ही कहता है
अच्छा.
यार. मैं
एक्चुअल
because
में नहीं है.
I've been getting reports, because I've been getting
Hmm.
reports from the ground also, because people who bought silver bars, right, and they're going to sell, वो जो खरीदने का भी रेट है ना, वो भी
हाँ.
उस रेट में नहीं है जिस रेट पे टिकर हो रहा
और
है.
नीचे
मतलब दे
नीचे
आर
हाँ नीचे.
बहुत, मतलब पीपल आर बाइंग एट 20% डिस्काउंट. भाई को खरीद ही
या
नहीं रहा तुमसे
या.
कोई, तो क्या खरीदोगे तुम वो लेके तुम.
आई हर्ड अबाउट दैट
भाई
टू.
सिल्वर इज वर्थ सो मच. बेचने पे जाओ आप, पता लग जाएगा बेचने में जाओ तो क्या बनता है.
Right.
सो
Manufacturing.
या.
The manufacturing sector shed 8,000 jobs in January, according to ADP private employment report. This marks the 32nd consecutive monthly decline, the longest streak since data began in 2010. एंड आखिरी जो खबर है वो नरकुंडी की फेवरेट थी, उसने मुझे भेजा स्पेशली और बोला कि यार ये आज की मेरी खबर है. से अमेरिकन नाउ स्पेंड मोर टाइम ऑन ओनली फैंस देन ऑन द न्यूयॉर्क Times and ChatGPT combined. That's because it benefits from the only trend more impactful than AI right now: loneliness. Okay,
Of
Narkundi,
course.
we got the message. I'll call you, bro. दिन में 4 बार कॉल करूंगा मैं तेरे को. Don't worry.
उठाऊंगा ही नहीं.
He'll be spending time somewhere else, bro. वो क्यों उठाएगा फोन को?
Yeah, if he's on OnlyFans, then ठीक है. He's talking to his friends, but
Friends.
yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to
Hello.
add?
Nope, I think today we're
Nope.
good.
Nope.
All right. Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us. We'll be seeing you tomorrow. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave some comments abusing Narkundi. All right. Good night.
Bye.
See you
Adios.
guys.
Adios.